Be it a car accident or a stunt gone wrong, tragedy can strike without warning, and here are some actors who suffered from it, tragically passing away during their film's production. Starting our list of unfortunates with Joaquin Phoenix's lesser-known older brother, River Phoenix. River really was a phoenix, guys, a glorious young actor, yet he fell prey to his own demons. The American actor actually emerged from the ashes, and by that I mean a pretty tough childhood. He entered Hollywood in 1980, and just 6 years later, Stephen King's Stand By Me made him a household name.
No one even asked me if I took the milk money that time. I just got a 3-day vacation. Did you take it? Yeah, I took it.
Folks, River's career was thriving until an ill-fated night in 1993. At the time, he was busy filming Dark Blood, and you know what? The film was 80% complete, but the oldest Phoenix succumbed to Hollywood's eternal plague, substance abuse. It has taken too many precious souls from us, hasn't it? While leaving a nightclub, River suddenly collapsed, and that was it. A couple of hours later, he was pronounced dead. River was just 23 at the time. How gutting is that? Had he not passed, we would have seen him in Interview with a Vampire, or better yet, as Jack Dawson in Titanic. He was actually James Cameron's first choice. As for his unfinished project, Dark Blood, it stayed in the shadows for 20 years. Director George Slicer refused to release it until 2012. That was the last we saw of the young River Phoenix. And as much as it pains for me to say, he isn't the only star who lost their battle with drugs. The OG Joker suffered the same fate.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
I only have one question. Where is Harvey Dent?
Heath Ledger died of an overdose while The Dark Knight was in production. Not only that, he was almost done filming The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Both his projects were in the production phase, but Heath was discovered in his Soho home a little too late. By then, he'd already succumbed to a mixture of too many medications, sleeping pills, painkillers, and even anxiety drugs. You could say he actually related to the Joker. Both their lives were a tragedy. Like his character, Heath was desperately trying to numb his pain. Only the meds completely took the life out of him. While The Dark Knight proceeded as it is, Terry Gilliam's film needed some saving, so Ledger's best pals Johnny Depp, Jude Law, and Colin Farrell stepped in to complete the remaining scene. Wish I could say the young Aussie icon was substance abuse's last victim, but not even close. It had yet to claim a Hunger Games game maker. Philip Seymour Hoffman was taken away from us way too soon. Remember when Suzanne Collins' series was all the rage? Mockingjay Part 2 was the most anticipated finale of the year. But first it had to face the unfortunate demise of our fave character, Plutarch. Hoffman was found dead in an apartment due to a drug overdose. The head game maker had just debuted in Mockingjay Part 1. We were yet to see his actual heroic arc. And kudos to director Francis Lawrence. He made that possible for us without a hitch. Yes, Phillips shot most of his scenes already, but the production phase always needs more takes. Now, the director didn't want CGI, so what did Francis do? He gave Hoffman's dialogues away to other characters. Since zero digital trickery was used, it really helped honor the deceased's memory. Also, Phillips' original scenes managed to stay in the film. That didn't happen to our next young singer.
You have been our mission from the beginning.
The plan was always to get you out.
Half the tributes were in on it. This is the revolution, and you are the Mockingjay.
The princess of R&B lost her life and her last project. Aaliyah took off on a flight from the Bahamas but never landed. In 2001, her overloaded plane crashed, killing all 9 people on board. It was so unexpected. She was only 22. What's more, she was at the peak of her music career. She was smashing records and leading Billboard lists. Her acting career was starting to thrive. The urban pop queen was cast not only in The Matrix Reloaded, but also its threequel Revolution. Hear this. Aaliyah had already wrapped her scenes for Reloaded. Still, the third movie was also being shot back to back. So the singer-turned-actor had to complete it too, only she didn't have the time. The crash cut her life short and she was gone too soon. As luck or bad luck would have it, her finished scenes never saw the light of day. The Matrix directors decided not to use them and instead recast her role. Seems like a travesty, doesn't it? But alas, what can you do? They couldn't have 2 different actors play the same role, could they? say refilming her reloaded scenes was their only option. Nobody could have predicted a plane crash, just like a car accident that broke hearts across the globe. It's really been a long time without Paul Walker. Can you believe it's been a decade? In 2013, Paul was out for a ride in the streets of Santa Clarita with a friend. Much like his character Brian, Paul loved cars and he loved driving fast. However, it was his love for driving fast that took his life as his car crashed. To be honest, I don't think anyone has gotten over his death, especially with all the subsequent Fast films screaming his absence. We nearly lost him in Furious 7 too. The movie was in production when Walker breathed his last. While he had shot most of the scenes, some crucial ones were left. That's where his brothers Cody and Caleb Walker came in. They allowed Universal Studios to scan them, and with some spectacular visual effects later, we got to witness Paul in his blaze of glory. Still, how uncanny was his death? The Fast and Furious franchise made Walker famous, and he went away on one last ride. What's more, a car again took the life of our next heartthrob, but it was over 50 years before Walker. In 1955, James Dean met his end in a head-on collision. You can't deny how suddenly it happened. Like James's career was just beginning to climb, man. He had just wrapped filming on his movie Giant. Even his most well-known movie, Rebel Without a Cause, hadn't hit theaters yet. In fact, he became famous after his death. Dean received the first ever posthumous Oscar nomination for his movie East of Eden. The sad part was that he never got to see it, but he's still very much alive in our hearts. Undoubtedly, James Dean is an eternal pop culture icon, and so is our next actor. The Little Dragon's a legend when it comes to martial arts. Yep, I'm talking about none other than Bruce Lee. You know what's surprising? Bruce did so many dangerous stunts, but none of them directly killed him. Turns out his brain became his enemy. While his movie The Game of Death was in production, the stunt king suddenly collapsed. That's when the doctors found abnormal swelling in his brain. They actually managed to control it, Lee was discharged, and all was well. Or so it seemed. Cut to 2 months later, Bruce slept and never woke up. What's more, it wasn't done with the Lee clan yet. Brandon Lee followed in his father's footsteps to death, but this wasn't a health scare. Oh no. Brandon was shot on the sets of The Crow. Only it wasn't intentional. It was a terrible mistake. You see, he was shooting a scene in which thugs shot his character. The guns were supposed to have blanks. Keywords, supposed to. Sadly, fragments of a real bullet got mixed in, and as it was fired, the bullet pierced his abdomen through his organs and made his spine its final home. Poor Lee had no chance of survival. Some stunt doubles had to complete his remaining shots, and that ends our grim list for the day. May the star's souls rest in peace. See you in the next one.